Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is I, Gene the Genius.
Side the group.
And Camilade.
You're now rocking with Nabruh Talk. It is November 2nd, 2017, and today's guest is Kean University student, fashion designer, and artrepreneur, Sunae.
Yes.
You guys speak a little louder than that.
Yes.
Artrepreneur.
Yes, artrepreneur.
Why do you call yourself an artrepreneur?
Because I'm not just everyone is an entrepreneur in their own way, but I'm an artrepreneur. I love art. I love that single aspect of it.
Nice.
Everybody is an entrepreneur.
They can be. They're capable of being an entrepreneur.
Oh. But they aren't.
Okay.
If you're an employee, you're not an entrepreneur.
How do you know that?
Why can't an employee turn into an entrepreneur?
You can.
I did.
You can turn into it, but if you're an employee at that point in time, you're not an entrepreneur.
What if you're half employee, half entrepreneur? Like you're an employee to fund your entrepreneurship.
What if you
have to use your other job to?
No, you have to say something.
Right.
No, I'm not saying that.
Most business people
Let me
use
hear
their
what you
job
guys
to
say.
fund their goals
If
and
you're using
dreams.
your other job for what?
I mean, if your other job is funding your entrepreneurship is failing.
What?
Huh?
I don't agree with you.
My opinion, so that's not a fact.
Failing. It's just
That's
not.
an opinion.
It's not they first.
It's not booming yet.
Yeah.
Jay-Z wasn't built in a day. He had to work as,
He
a
actually
dope
didn't work.
boy.
He didn't work. He's so dope.
Exactly, to fund his
what
goals
you're
and
saying
dreams.
is they gotta sell dope and not work for someone else.
What I'm saying is you gotta work. You know, if you're gonna do that, go that route. You feel me? You gotta work, get your bread up, right? Quit your job, then continue on.
So what would you call someone like Who's?
Who's?
Mm-hmm.
He's a photographer and a filmographer.
Yeah, but he also works to fund what he does.
Yeah.
So
You're an entrepreneur. He's a filmographer and a photographer.
He's an entrepreneur.
he's an entrepreneur.
Maybe. I was just.
What would you call Gene?
He said maybe.
Yeah.
Gene. I call him a genius.
What would you call
That's
me?
nice.
So
I got a question.
What's going
Alright. Alright, so I've never cried during a movie. So is that weird? Because I see we have.
No, I've only cried probably during one movie, and that was 2012.
What movie was it?
That movie with when the world was going to end in 2012.
Oh, I
Soleil.
forgot.
It was weird. It was a
Hold
weird
on.
timing. Like it was really weird.
No, but I feel like, is it that you get angry in times where you should usually cry? Because if that's the case, you're just subbing. Like maybe the norm is to
I
cry,
do
but some
cry
people
when
get
I'm
angry.
Have you seen Titanic?
Yes, and that
I
was
haven't seen
I
that
did
was all
cry
right.
in Titanic though.
I feel like
I ain't gonna hold
Titanic
you.
was just commercial.
You teared up.
At the end when he was in the water,
I looked at it like, oh, damn.
I was happy. I'm like, y'all didn't
I
let
was
black
like-
people on the ship. That's what you get.
Kimmy always about
First of all,
Seriously, Kimmy's like, well,
First of
since you
all-
didn't put no black people in it, that's why it happened.
Yeah.
that was Leonardo. That's Leonardo.
Word, you're not gonna play him
Damn.
like that.
And low key,
That
I ain't
was
gonna
a
hold
great
you.
movie.
First, he could have definitely survived.
He could.
He could have survived. Second, that's a good man
He wanted to be a
because
savior.
she was asleep. I would have.
That's crazy. No.
Yo, I would.
No, you got
Oh,
yo, you sleep?
You sleep.
Alright.
You want? She wouldn't have felt a thing. She would have just went down there.
You can't live into something like that.
Subconsciously, he wouldn't have been. He would have felt crazy.
Word.
He couldn't let her. It couldn't happen.
You would have had nightmares.
What's worse? You let her go in her sleep, or her waking up to find out she could have moved over and you could have.
She could have moved over.
Yo, move over, yo.
It's gonna eat her up, but.
Wait, I never cried in a movie, bro. Like,
Not even Pursuit of Happiness.
no, I love that movie, and I did not cry.
But you got angry.
I
Right?
was angry.
So anger is how you cry instead.
I guess
Right.
that's my form of crying, whatever. Like, back to the Khalif Browder documentary. A lot of people said that they cried. I didn't cry. I was very upset and angry because
Yeah.
of how he was treated throughout that entire process. But Lion, like we saw, it came out because Lion King. You know, Lion King's coming out with the new.
That's what.
Live action draw. You know what's crazy?
I'm not watching it.
When I get angry, like if I get like extremely angry, my eyes get hot.
Your eyes?
Yeah, they get hot.
Okay,
Avatar.
Your
There's a
lids
Super
be
Saiyan.
on-
Nah,
your
like
lids
my whole
be-
body gets hot. I get real hot. My
I
when I'm
get
mad.
hot. I feel
But-
my body temp go up.
But my eyes get hot and I start tearing. Like
He said his eyes.
Yeah.
I'm not off that. I've
It
never
be
heard that
burning.
before.
my eyes start burning.
I just talking.
You see
I just
I
started
don't think
talking
I've been
knowledge
angry in a
on,
long time.
Like, I get mad. I'm like, yo, if I was that lawyer, if I'm not, I'd be in there. You know, I'm just one of those if I was scenarios.
Yeah.
That's how I get. But I can't like. Yeah, they're trying to make me feel bad for not crying. I'm like, yo, I'm just like, I'm emotional, but I just don't cry for movies. Like, I'll cry, but not for movies.
You cried in life though, right?
You know, your
You
vision.
cried in life though, right?
Of course.
Oh, I was just asking.
But I just don't. But to be honest, I haven't had a lot of crying occasions though.
I can feel that.
When you watch stuff, do you like pretend the character is you or pick a character to be you though, or do you just
That's
watch
relatable to
it?
yourself.
I feel like that I do that subconsciously if I can relate to that character. So now I'm kind of like living through that character. Like, okay, I know, like, and then you try to connect the dots with what's happening next because you can relate to that character.
I
so
cry
much.
because even if I can't relate to the character, I make myself one of the characters, usually the main character.
And you sometimes
So like,
oh,
I feel
so
like it's
the
me, yeah.
the protagonist.
You're
yeah,
probably a good actor.
probably.
Don't say probably. You probably are, or you know, like.
I don't trust
never
actors.
too
I mean, I act all the time.
Why
I
not?
act like I like being around you guys.
You would
I
trust
act
that
like
actor?
It's like this. If you're an actor, right? When do you really stop acting?
Never.
I think we all act.
Yeah, but an actor is good at making you feel something. An actor is good at making you feel like
And that's
you're-
why Beyonce is a bad actress.
This is about the
Dad,
third
how'd that-
week
how'd that
you are
come out?
coming at Beyonce.
Beyonce, I don't like her. As
She's not a good
an
actress.
Y'all not like her in Dreamgirls?
I don't
Cadillac
like
Records, she was okay,
Was
but
that
I think
her?
it was
I
when
like
she
Cadillac
sang,
Records.
but her
Cadillac
acting part
Records
was
was
bad.
great.
It was
No,
the singing that was
Yeah,
good.
she's in both.
Okay.
Yeah,
It hits
Well,
you.
you gotta pick your poison, all right?
like Obsessed. That wasn't.
Oh, yeah, that
for
was-
her.
Alright,
think you
alright.
crazy. I'll show you
She
crazy.
just can't be
Grab my
angry.
hand.
Like, I can't see
Yeah.
her angry.
That wasn't
It
good.
wasn't working
Jay?
for her.
But she did good in Cadillac Records though.
She did do
But
good
it was
for
'cause
her.
of the
That was
singing.
more
It was
fitting
the
for
music
her.
Yeah,
that
it was
touched
a
you.
musical.
Even the scenes when they were like in like when she was like in front of the fireplace, they was on the couch. Like, that was a good scene, and like
Yeah,
when
she
she did
had-
a lot, like, that movie she did good in.
Maybe
and
she's
so
getting
did
better at
Gingers.
it, you know?
That's what I'm saying. And yeah, remember with Lion King, it's
Because
just
that
her
first
voice.
movie she ever did, I think like in the 90s or early 2000, nobody talks about it, but
What
it was some black movie she was in, I think. I gotta find it, but it was like her first, she had like braids too, like blonde braids. That's how you know it was like a long time ago.
I think I know what
Oh!
you're talking about.
It
Austin
wasn't
Powers. Go remember?
I
Was
seen
it?
that.
There's
I
one
seen
before that.
But
It's a movie
Not
before
that.
that.
It was like a small scene though.
Was it like
Was she in
Beyonce's
Destiny's
first?
Child still?
I think so.
did
Yeah.
you have on like one of them two top?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you see it in a lot of memes like on Instagram,
Yeah.
but you never know where it's from. They're like,
Because
oh
it's
yeah.
such, it is a small.
No one even talks about the movie.
It was 2002.
Oh, you
haven't
Cleopatra,
looked it up.
Cleopatra, alongside Mike Myers in the
That's
comedy
Austin
film
Powers.
Austin Powers.
No, wasn't there one before that? They erased it out
I
her
don't
bio.
remember.
It was so bad. Had to take it out.
She was probably just an extra in it.
Love you, bae.
Yeah.
No, relax yourself. The Beehive is coming for
Yeah, they coming for
Because
you.
I'm low key about to type all of
You a
that.
public figure. You a
I'm
public
about to
figure,
let the
right?
whole
I'm not
squad
a
know.
public
You heard?
figure.
Yo, her at is
Is it your-
Oluwa Kemi Alade on
They don't
Instagram.
care about me.
Oh, they gonna come under your comments.
I mean,
They
Yeah.
gonna come in
guys,
mad.
I have
They gonna come in
hella
mad
comments.
nice. Nah, they gonna come in mad. Hey sister, how you doing? I love the Nabruh Talk segment.
Who's the
So,
Beyonce
so
hater?
about this Beyonce thing, I want you to get one thing straight, okay, boo? It's gonna start mad.
Yeah,
stuff.
Okay,
so
but
hard.
yo, you know what's crazy though?
I like
Have you ever?
Beyonce.
When was the last time you heard something from Carrie Hilson?
Miss Carrie,
Mm.
baby.
That's what she produces. She write too.
Yeah, she's a ghostwriter.
She
She's
be a
happy.
bad
She's
though.
married,
You
and
know
her
what?
husband or her man
That
is
never gonna
handsome.
snap.
You were like this.
She making
And
that
she
bread.
looked
She also
good.
came for Beyonce, and the Beehive snapped.
No,
back.
before the Beehive, there was some industry stuff that was happening. They weren't
As
allowing her to have
always.
the freedom
As
that she
always.
wanted as an
We're
artist.
never gonna know.
So she kind of just stopped writing.
Well,
Mhm.
And I think she can't write for a while.
That's the official story we're
No,
gonna go
it's
with.
true.
listen.
Beehive.
Rihanna
clap
survived
back.
the Beehive because Rihanna.
she got
Rihanna is
a
a
baby.
whole different beast.
I'm
Let me not say
a
Rihanna better than Beyonce on
Beehive,
Instagram.
Rihanna need you.
But guys, if you think about it, like Beyonce's awesome and she's done some awesome stuff.
She's
But the
amazing.
fact that Rihanna's had hot like #1 singles as a single
Back-
artist
yeah.
since she was
Yeah,
18.
that's me.
I feel like Rihanna brings a different type
Vibe.
of crowd and vibe that Beyonce
Mhm.
doesn't touch. Like, I don't care for Beyonce. I think she's very pretty. Her music's good.
But it's so
But
mainstream
if I'm on a-
Rihanna's
I
more
don't play
liberal.
Beyonce.
Rihanna's more liberal.
You feel me?
for,
Yeah, it's
you know,
not-
stuff like that.
for people.
What?
Yeah. Rihanna
Rihanna's
is
more
way,
liberal?
For creators.
yes,
Rihanna.
she's way more
creators.
liberal than Beyonce.
Liberal?
I don't know how to explain it, but like we're on the same page.
You
and
get
we're
what-
not.
you get
We
what-
get what we're
You're
trying to
not.
say.
You expect Rihanna to be walking
Like,
out
Rihanna's
smoking
for-
weed before you see Beyonce
Beyonce,
doing
Yeah,
that.
like she. I don't know how to explain it.
Or wear
That-
something that we
Is
would walk
that what
around in.
liberal
Right.
means?
Beyonce,
Yeah.
I look at it and I won't wear it.
No, I think liberal is the wrong word. We get it, but you know what
You
we're
get-
trying to say.
Yeah, I did. I was like,
All right, well, I apologize for using it incorrectly.
Beyonce has an image to keep because of the market she's crossed
Yeah.
over
So
into.
she doesn't-
I mean, Rihanna crossed over to him, but she didn't do it on purpose. She
Right.
was depressed, and
Yeah.
her music just turned into pop and rock. You know.
Well, at the end of the day, I have no required for a movie. Okay, that's.
How about for music?
Yeah, a song
for
every
music,
Gospel music makes me cry.
I've cried for one song, and that was the
Worship service?
Suicide Hotline song.
Oh yeah, that song touched me too.
Yeah, that song is. Very
Talk about Logic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see
That's
the
what-
video?
Mm-hmm.
That video was powerful.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
And I ain't gonna hold you like
And you know another song that made me
I
cry?
don't judge nobody, but I don't rock with it like that. That video was powerful, like
The I can't change even if I tried, even if I wanted to.
Yes.
Mhm.
That makes me like
Ooh,
I don't
Is
know.
that a gospel song?
no. Keeps me.
Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
song.
I
that's-
probably cried over a song, then a breakup. It was probably the breakup that made me
Made
cry,
you
not
cry?
the song.
We belong
If
together.
I could just touch something and yeah.
And we're gonna move to Kem's Corner. I got it right this time.
Okay,
I
that
would
was
say
quick.
Chem.
Like
Chem.
you didn't even breathe after Kem's corn. You didn't even let the come off your tongue before you like.
You got gas. That's what happened.
Because I always get it wrong, she like, it's Kem's
I
Corner.
don't talk like that.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, whatever.
Kim's-
Well, today at Kean's Corner, I just wanted to talk about marriage. I just feel like a lot of the time, like as young people, I hear young people all the time, oh, I don't want to get married, and that's like you're right and stuff. But I'm also seeing now a trend of marriage, and I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Is it because of the influence of social media and these public figures with quotations around it? And do you guys feel like people are getting married for the wrong reasons or fetishizing
Can
marriage
you
for the
really
wrong
get
reasons?
Can you really get married for the wrong reason? Think about it.
I don't know. Can you?
I'm just saying, if you married, that's a good step right there. Actually, yes, you can get married for the very
It could
wrong
be
reason.
money,
I could for
honey.
money. I could get married
He might be
to
old.
be cool with your
and
dad, cause your dad got money.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that you guys
I
thought
never-
What?
about that.
White guys think like that all the time.
Not
Yeah.
White,
not just white guys, but mostly because it's
I could-
networking.
Yeah.
You marry into the.
I was
Family.
just having this discussion with Deasia because ever like Cardi B got married, it's just like there is a trend of marriage going on. Like it's showing that men aren't, I guess, afraid to cuff women. Like so, our generation right now, they act like dating is like
So
it's so bad. It's such a huge commitment. Like we're too young. Da da da. But no one's asking you to get down on one knee tomorrow and have 3 babies the next day. You feel me? Like everything has a
They'll
time
have
and
the
a
three
pace.
babies.
until they turn
Do you-
25.
Do you
And
believe?
so they turn to.
Do you guys believe that, like, especially like in our communities, that we don't, when people don't want to say they don't want to get in a relationship, because usually that's where it ends. There's not a
Mhm.
lot of marriages, so it's like, okay, that's my boyfriend. That's also my baby father.
Yeah.
So is that why they think of getting into a relationship like that?
Yes, I think it's what they see at the end of the road with other people's relationships. And that's the problem. Like, you're looking at other people's relationships and you're trying to measure it with yours. And that's the other thing. Like, you're measuring the good and the bad. So like, when you see something good, you want that. You try to measure it that way. And then you see something bad, you don't want that, and you're measuring it to that as well. But you're not even focusing on yourself. People, and before I left and I came back, you were like, oh, do people get married for the wrong reasons? And so I was like, is there such thing as getting married for the wrong reasons? No, but you have two people who are getting married for specific reasons, but that don't match.
Right.
And that's
So
the
their
thing.
intentions are
Their,
different.
their intentions
But-
are completely different, and they don't make. And somewhere along the lines, it mixes up, and then they forget why they got together, and that's where the big issue falls into part. And I also think family has a lot to do with it.
Mhm.
If parents aren't communicating with their children to let them know, like, this is how you should go about dating, or this is how marriages work, and not just talking to them, but how you guys, how the parents, show it as well, then there's of course going to be a big problem with, society and the younger generation when it comes to dating. Like, ain't nothing wrong with dating, and there's nothing wrong with getting married. It's just people are very fearful of what can possibly happen down the line.
I think people are just scared of anything long term. Like, if I'm dating you, I'm not just looking at you like, okay, my boyfriend tomorrow. It's a long term thing. Like, you have to be involved in my future or what's going on right now.
Right.
People are scared to think about their own futures, let alone a relationship future.
I also feel like I was just like, because we have our Cream No Sugar group chat, and like 2 of the girls have guys, you know, so 2 of the girls they are in relationships, or 2 of the girls from the project are in relationships. And like, it's come to a point where I asked them, I was like, so how did you guys get boyfriends? Like, how did it work? Like, because like I don't know. I mean, how many of your friends do you know have boyfriends or have had boyfriends?
Right now, one is dating.
Right.
My close friends, only one.
Right. Like, it's just like I don't even know anyone who has a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
To be honest, I think hooking up and dating are both 2 things that ruin marriage. That's why people don't get married today. 'Cause one, we hook up with people. So like, one, I can have sex without marrying people. Because remember, back in the day, you couldn't do that. You had to get married to have sex with somebody. You had to get married to get some puss. You feel me?
Or you make them your girlfriend.
That's the next thing.
So do you think women have settled because men say they don't want to have relationship? Well, not just men, because I know women who don't want to have relationships, but mostly guys, I guess, because it was cool and in music and on TV. Oh, have hoes, have this, have that. Like, do you think now women, because a man says, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship, but they really like them, so they're just, with quotations around, just kicking it? But pretty much you're dating.
That's what I'm saying. Dating is another thing that ruins marriages, because if we're dating, right? We're dating. Now, say we actually make it 15 years, 20 years. What incentive do I now have to marry you? We basically married already. We've been dating for 50. I know people who've been dating for like 20 years, and I'm not talking about like our age. They young. They're old. They're not getting married. They're never gonna get married because why? They've been together for so long. What's the point? Dating ruins the fact that we get married. And then another thing is, when you break up, you have a bad breakup with a person. Not only do you affect your next relationship with that breakup, but you don't want to be the same after that. Like, you kind of either you don't trust that person the same,
or trust anyone.
You look at them differently.
You start moving different.
Yeah.
But that's mostly for men. Sorry, Sunae. I feel like women are able to. I think women are more able or feel more pressured to be like, okay, this guy did this to me. I mean, they're still gonna like probably all over social media. Oh, boys ain't this. But then like when they are willing to trust again in the next relationship, I feel like men, when they're hurt, it's different. Okay, Sunae then.
I feel like women, especially now, a man does us wrong, it's like 2 could play that game. So it's a whole back and forth it's a bunch of pettiness, and it's just like that ruins the mindset of dating, of a marriage, of a future, period. Because we're so focused on either getting back or moving on. There's nobody is at a point where anything could be fixed.
I just feel like when it comes to dating, you know, men getting hurt and women getting hurt, you can't generalize it, because a lot of men are very different. It's just most of the men that you see, that's just how they are, and those are the ones that women who are hurt talk about on Twitter.
Right.
And those are the women that men talk about on Twitter and Instagram. But the thing is, a lot of us date, and then we go from, some of us bounce from here to there, and we never even take the time out to know ourselves. That's the other thing. I think that's like the main thing.
That's the main thing.
That's the number one. Like, no one spends time just to figure out, who am I? What am I trying to do for the next 5 to 10 years? That's why whenever a lot of people, you might meet somebody and you know what you're doing for the next 10 years, and then you figure out they don't even know what they're trying to do tomorrow. And then,
I've been in that position.
Yeah, so it's like, well, and that's the problem. Is like, I'd rather you try, you know, at least be honest with them. You know, if you see like that's a problem, be open to them. Like, yo, I like you and everything, but I'd rather you figure out who you want to be and who you're trying to be before you want to be with me, because I know who I am. I know my identity. I feel as though you don't know who you are, and they might take that to offense. Like, I know who I am. I'm this, and that's when they get angry. It's like, you don't know who you are.
People like that, I find myself like before trying to dig and like find more about them, because there's a mystery behind that person, period.
Yeah.
Because one, they don't know, and two, I don't know if you don't
Right.
know. So it's like I'm trying to dig and find what you like, what you want to do, what's your next 5 years looking like. I'm about to graduate. If you're not in school, but what do you want to do?
Right.
You feel me? That's a whole big question mark, and that could also think you're not want to do.
It's huge, and I don't know. And I think like that's just the bottom line for me. Like people just don't take the time out to know themselves. Like you have the few, people, and that's the other thing. There's like the men who meet women who like, yo, I'm not really trying to get in a relationship right now because I just got a breakup. Why do some people like forcefully try to force them into the relationship, even just the dating part?
Because do they really want to date or do they want the puss?
I think they just want that girl in their arm. Because there's some people I meet, they just like, yo, I want you.
No, I just think they want the women for like validation from other people.
But
like, yo.
Yeah, like, oh, you got
her. You got her?
Yeah.
You got her?
But
I
I also feel like some women too, like we were talking about this at the event that Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated had. It was like sex over milk and cookies, and they're talking about open relationships, and a lot of the girls in the room were like, yes, 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 yes. But the thing is, I know some of these girls on a personal level, or I knew them before, and I'm like, but you're the same girls who men have told you, I don't want anything serious right now, and you agree to it because in your head you think it's okay, but then like you're trying to get a relationship out of the same man who already told you he's not ready for that, but you're all talking about open relationships or openly dating or messing around. It's not, don't feel like, if your standard is you don't want to be with somebody like openly, don't feel like you need to be pressured to do that, because you're only going to end up hurting yourself. Because at the end of the day, when you send that long blue paragraph to him, he's going to be like, but I told you from the beginning. And then to the men or women who don't say something from the beginning, like, don't be mad when you are making this person feel like you're like that, they like that, and they not like that to you. Don't start feeling some type of way because you doing relationship stuff and you didn't say from the jump, I don't want a relationship.
And I feel like people settle for these circumstances
just to have something.
Just to have something, and maybe the person really fits their image of what they're looking for in a man or female. It's like he has, I don't know, the beard, or he has that look or whatever.
Why you gotta say the beard?
Because that's what a lot of y'all
love the beard.
Like.
They love the beard.
He got a beard. He might be muscular. He's
6'4".
He long,
but he don't want a relationship. I could settle for that. What?
Yeah. That's because some women feel like in that aspect they can change that man. If they feel like they have a certain power over him, I can change him. Maybe this could get fixed. Maybe if I talk to him more, spend more time with him.
But you know what's funny? He already got power over you because you've already settled with him.
Because you're accepting it. Whatever you allow will continue.
That's facts.
And that's from you don't know yourself yet, so you've allowed another man, you've allowed another human being to take control of you without you even knowing it. And when somebody tells you that, you get offended.
Right. I've always said, like, you date on the level of how you see yourself.
Exactly.
And how you respect yourself and how you think of yourself and like how you feel about yourself. It might not be like physically, like you'd be very handsome. We're not talking about looks, but the way he treats you, the way he talks to you, the way he acts as a person, his character or her character, it's about how you see yourself. Mm-hmm. So whoever you're dating is a reflection of how you see yourself, or whoever you're settling with or talking to or begging for, like, is a reflection of how you see yourself. Because I look back now and I'm like, really can. But I also remember when I think of my mental state, I wasn't in a good place up here either. So I'm like, okay. And then I've noticed as I've grown and as I begin to love myself, I attract different kinds of men, or better men, I should say. Yeah. So I think but the thing is, if you aren't conscious about that, you're never gonna change it or change yourself.
Most men, if they realize I can't really get you, and it's because their mental state ain't up there, because their focus isn't really on what your focus is on. Mm-hmm. And if they can't match
what your focus is on, bro?
You already know what
the buzz. That's what I've been saying all the time.
It's not just about
sometimes
when it comes to these boys out here, listen to what I said. These boys out here, you really have and I play people because I like you think I'm like on your side or something the whole time. I don't think the way you do, so like I'm not with you.
You just listen.
So I'm like, hey, what's good with the puss? You see how excited they get. They be like, what? What? Let me tell you about. I got this.
I sat down. Then you have a whole different conversation on real stuff.
Yeah.
And they are their mind somewhere else. I'd be like, yo, what's good with you?
Oh, nah, I was just checking my phone. Like, oh, no.
Your phone dropped, bro. She ain't text you back. She getting clapped right now.
Hello?
Wow.
Yo,
Anyway.
I'm doing the acting scene for my acting class. I gotta say that. Like, why didn't she answer the phone?
She getting
bro.
She getting clapped.
I gotta say that.
But alright, so before we go into our Nabruh Talk in the evening, we would just want to know a little bit about, please forgive me.
Song God.
How do you say your name?
Sunae.
See, I'd rather
What were you gonna
ask-
say though?
I was
wanna
gonna
know
say
what you-
Sunae.
Ain't no M in it.
Right, like I thought I was gonna say Sunae or like something like.
My name
Can-
is
and
Chop.
Wouldn't you rather me ask before I say
I
it?
was just curious as to what it
Yo,
was.
I've gotten Sunae,
first of all,
Sunae.
Sunae. First of all, you got a bandana on. You gotta watch out when you're
Wow.
walking on this campus, all right? I'm not here to protect.
I'm covered by the blood of Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus what?
I ain't gonna say good. All right,
I wish I
guys.
knew Creole so I could say something.
Tell us.
Y'all
a little
are
bit about
wow.
That's so funny.
He said, I'm not gonna protect you. Like,
You gonna
You know
protect
I'm
me.
playing.
This is why I love y'all. Like one time we went out, right? They all moved to the other side of the sidewalk, so I'd be on that side. And I didn't know what was going on, but I'm like, these guys are just awesome. Like,
At least they're honest.
right?
Go ahead,
A
Sunae.
little bit about myself. That's a very broad question. It's hard to answer that.
What do you
but
do?
I'm an artist. I paint specifically.
what's
What
your
kind of-
muse?
Canvas, clothing, anything that takes paint.
Pretty
To be
much.
honest.
Like,
When'd you start?
I've always been involved in the arts, but I took it seriously in high school. That's when I started to really be like, this could be a thing.
What inspired you? What got you started?
It was definitely my art teacher.
Where?
I've known her since like elementary school, and she knew my capabilities that I didn't know I had. So
course.
once I started painting more, she just was like, it was a specific painting. It was my first like actual portrait painting, and we had to choose a concept. Mine was Marilyn Monroe. It was, I forgot what the quote was, but I did half tiger, half human, and she said my face was too flat, and I'm thinking like, how was her face? Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, there's some more colors in the skin tone. Like, no one is one color. So she walked me over to the window, put my arm up, and it was sunny out that day. So I'm seeing like the silver lining, like how you see the CD, the colors.
Yeah.
I saw that. So ever since then, I was never afraid of color. That's why I dress the way I dress. That's why I paint the way I paint. Like, you control color, color don't control you.
That's amazing. It's always the teachers who are the most inspiring are always the ones who
And that's
are
what my
get
first painting in high
always
school,
taken out of the
right.
budget, bro.
Yeah.
Because
they know.
my art teacher in middle school, she was Aggie like that. And I used to be like, Miss, I'm done. She was like, no, you're not. I was like, yo, I'm
We're working
done.
to it.
I was like, I'm done. I don't want to color no more.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, gee, just add a little more color. Some of your, add more fruit. Because you ever did the fruit basket?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I remember
Yeah,
that.
the
That's
fruit
back in the day with the
basket.
clay. You
Yeah.
got the nice paper.
I
You
felt
got
like we
to.
did
Did the
those
Van
too
Gogh?
much.
Did you
Yeah.
do Van Gogh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, art is,
The
so.
spears,
Yep.
all of that.
Oh my goodness, now I'm going back to memory lane. This is crazy. But,
Yeah, that is true.
so
I'm just saying, I'm looking like great at art, so like I never, I picked that off like Rick, I was
now, so you did you take time to like draw on your own and stuff like that?
I honestly hate sketching. Like anything
Really?
I paint, I never sketch full out unless it's a portrait.
Okay.
Because I just want to get right to it. Like I'm so anxious.
Oh, so you're really a painter.
Yeah.
You're a painter.
Yes.
That's
like,
dope.
I don't feel like I can give it full like I could shade and stuff, but I can't give it as much detail as I think I could if I painted.
Mm-hmm.
So my professor like draw this out. I'm not shading. Like my mind is telling me I could do that once I start painting.
Nice. Now, I know when I was younger, I could not draw a thing that you wanted me to draw. I
And that
can
you-
draw.
Only
I would need
what
to
you
be
wanted.
bored to death.
I could draw a bunny.
And after 5 hours, I got a whole masterpiece.
Mhm.
But I have to be super, super bored. And
Word.
you can't tell me to do
Word.
it.
Yeah.
I have to want to do it. I had drawn this whole portrait. I still remember, it was like two guys shooting at each other. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's what I've
It
used
was
to
the
see.
Dragon Ball Z you're watching.
No, but I did used to draw a lot of Dragon Ball Z.
Mm.
But I drew that, and then I had like little logos of things that I've used to use, like Nike, Jordan, and like different, companies that you used to seeing growing up as a
Mhm.
kid. And I'm just like, yo, this picture is hard. But if someone told me to draw it, I would have been trash.
Yeah, I drew my best sketches was like in class, and I wasn't paying attention.
You zone.
I used to dedicate the first page of my notebook to like a portrait. So what I would do is I'll start it right. I'll go in the corner, like the corner with like the red line meet the blue line.
Yeah, you went out
like right there in the margin.
I got flowers right there.
Yo,
Oh my God, right there.
I'll draw like a flower or an eye right there, and depending on what I drew, like it would just start stepping off.
It goes off.
Yeah.
And then every day,
Oh, yeah.
I'll start, depending on what mood I was in, I might use a different color
Honestly,
pen.
that's what the
And
notebooks
then,
are for.
It get
my
crazy.
drawing used to be crazy.
It get crazy.
I could draw
But we all
heart.
did the S's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my name is Sai. You know I do the
I
S.
can do it.
On Twitter, it had the 3 lines on top and 3 lines on it. It said, y'all know what's
That was
going
me
on.
right on the
Word.
dusties.
Yup.
Oh yes,
Yup.
or inside on the
And then you try to get creative. Yo, I drew. Yo, let me see.
You gotta
yours.
slant
Nah.
it a little bit.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't drawing. I was writing like go to.
Oh yeah, you were the problematic kid, yo. That wrote
Shut
F you
up.
on the desk.
For the
I
next
draw
person.
like a middle.
Left a note. Right.
All right. So speaking of all that, do you guys think inequality in pay affects people's morality?
Yes,
Yeah.
they'll do more to get that pay that they want.
Why? I mean,
What do you mean? I got 2 kids at home. I want to go on vacation this summer. I don't want to be paying paycheck to paycheck, buy my groceries, pay my bills, and be broke. That's not why I'm at work. No, I want more money.
so what's morality though?
Morality is doing the right thing. Now, let me tell you people do the work.
Whoa. That's where because
That's
my
where the-
right thing
the-
is
the-
different from
right,
your right thing.
exactly.
Your right thing is different from your right
Yeah.
thing, and your right thing can be altered depending on what you grew up around that
Your
was,
values.
that you
The
were taught
values, now
socially
you got
taught
values
morality.
into
to
it.
be the right thing.
Because remember, people's morals are based on their values. So if I have a family
culture.
and I need to feed in culture,
There's that word again.
if I have a family, I need to feed my family. Society's morals will not stop me because society tells you not to rob, not to steal, not to whatever. But then I got a family to feed. If I don't feed my family, my friends are gonna tell me, "Yo,
You're a bad dad.
you're a bad dad." But I'm gonna do what I have to do.
Yeah, but if you're stealing to feed your family, you're destroying your own morality. 'Cause
How
you're
do you
saying-
know that's my morality?
Because
though?
his morality
doesn't
could just
matter.
be my
Doesn't
family
matter.
needs to be
It
good.
doesn't matter. Once you take something unjustly from someone else to provide for someone else, you're gonna feel wrong for doing that, no
What
matter
about-
what your values
what
are.
What
about-
about vigilantes like Robin Hood?
Robin Hood stole from people who was making other people starve, so he can feed the people that were starving.
Okay.
He's
No.
stealing from Stop and Shop, which is or Walmart, which is a big corporation owned by wealthy people that
people.
extort other people in other countries to work for low to minimum or no wage. So he stole from Walmart and justified it that way because
Because
his
Walmart
family
won't
is
give me a
hungry.
job.
Plus, the people in China that's working in the factory, they got freaking suicide nets at the bottom of the factory because they're all trying to kill themselves because
Exactly.
the work
Yeah,
conditions are
but
that
now
bad.
those employees at Walmart who are in the same position he is are now losing. They're losing money for that.
Why are
So-
they losing
Why
money
they
for
What do
it?
you mean? You know what happens?
They
if you
write
steal
that
from the
off.
store? No, they
This-
don't.
yes,
Alright,
they do.
That's
inventory.
if you keep stealing from the store, let me tell you what happens. The prices go up in that store. Why? Because they gotta meet that
But that's
budget.
if
Yeah,
everybody's
they gotta meet the
stealing
budget.
from the store.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
just
If you're
Gene.
stealing from the store, if you're stealing from the store, it affects other people. Once
It
you
does.
steal, you're not able. Nobody thinks about that. They
But
think,
I don't
oh, it's
care
the
about
big-
you. I care about my family.
Exactly.
Right.
What about the little guy who gets affected by that? Who now he loses his job or something because
How are
somebody
you gonna
stole
get
from
his
him while
money?
he was on duty.
The big,
How is he gonna not provide for his family?
the big
Amen.
He got to
issue.
steal too.
The big issue is these big five families, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the rest of them. They own all the wealth in America, and then that's why I was asking. I didn't know how to put it in the topic when I was
with
trying
the
to say it
wage.
yesterday. I'm like, do you understand? Like, there's no such thing as middle class. It's made up, right?
You either
For some,
rich or
either
you're poor.
rich or you're poor. So the money that is
make you
dispersed
feel
in the
bad.
middle class, right?
Yeah.
With quotations around that, most of that money, the baby boomers have it because that's when jobs were okay. Like you could
But so
survive on a
therefore-
job,
therefore
and it's all in their
401k.
401ks, their Roth IRAs,
Now
their
I-
different
that's
retirement.
what I was trying to get you to explain
Okay,
that.
that's what I mean. So like, I mean, there's gonna be a time where that money and those life insurance policies are paid
Done.
out to us. But until then, all of that money is locked up with them.
So what do you
So
say?
what I'm trying to say is, what do we do? And that's why I said there's I know a young man I went to high school with. We weren't close like that, but like everyone kind of knew his business because like you know where the Grove is.
Mm-hmm.
So like if something happened at your house in the Grove, everybody know about it because everything is like that. So you would hear through the grapevine. But he his sister, he had a sister, and he had a younger brother who was like a baby. His mom had him young as a teenager. Him and his sister are probably like 3 years apart, and then the baby's like 10 years apart, right? And he started selling drugs because mom wasn't working, but she always had men in and out of the house. So he started doing something that people would say isn't morally right, but it was a way to protect his sister so that these men wouldn't have to come in and out of the house providing for their family. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, is he wrong?
No.
But then why is Gene wrong for stealing from the store to feed his family?
I mean, technically, yes. It's wrong for selling drugs.
Okay.
Because those drugs are now killing other people.
So morals do.
Alright, first of all, I'm gonna speak personally.
Okay.
Me. Now, I've been in that situation where I had to, bust a couple cells for my mother. Because, one, we had no heat.
Okay.
We had no food. All that. I done that. Was I right for selling drugs? No. Because those drugs could have killed people.
So does the end...
And not only could have killed people, it could have killed me.
Right.
And it would make things worse for my mother.
Right.
But that's the thing. My intentions were good. My intentions to want to do something for my mother because she needs help. And I'd rather be the one to help her than have somebody else do it.
Right.
That's a good intention. But now, here's where I mess up at. Because this is the trap of reality that they set for us.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do that? I can't get a job. If I do get a job, I'm not making enough.
Right.
So I'm gonna bust a few sales, make a couple hundred a day. You feel me?
So does the end justify the means?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get used to that, and then I'm gonna end up in two places.
Right.
Dead or in prison.
Yeah.
And I'll be dead before I even hit 30.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll be in prison before I even turn 25.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I won't get out of jail because you know what cops do, right?
Mm-hmm. You
Cops,
get life.
Cops don't arrest minor drug dealers, yo, unless they see them do it. Like they were stupid. Like, Gene's a cop. I'm a drug dealer. I go like this.
Yeah.
Pass you off and keep. What? I'm getting bagged. But no, real cops, they'll wait until you become a drug lord.
Oh, yeah.
Or you get close.
Right.
They'll wait. They'll let you.
Time.
They'll let you get good, and then they got a big case.
Mm-hmm. Then they tear you down. They get the big case because you know they're gonna get a
and they got
nice
they got
stipend at the
they
end
got
of
so
it.
much information on you. They've been watching you for
For
years.
so long.
Man, listen, I, it's yes and no because even people with money don't have morals.
That's not always true.
Look, because when we think about when we think about inequality affecting morals, we think about people who don't have money. But then there's also people with money who do those same type of things. Like they might not be the same practices, but they have their own morals that they go against.
But I have
as well.
a question: is it going against, like, for example, when I brought up the example with the cheap Chinese labor and the factories, like these people work for $1.40 something an hour. They live in the factories. They pay $40 rent. The meals are like $15, so they really don't have money to send back to their families, which is why they started working in these factories in the first place. However, if they stayed in their village, they could die from starvation.
Right.
So, on a moral standpoint, am I wrong for creating this factory and exploiting these people? But these people don't even know they're being exploited because they're in their head. They're like, "Thank God I'm better than being back in my village." So morally, am I wrong?
Yes.
Yes, you're very wrong.
To be honest,
Because I know better, right?
To be honest, corporations make billions of dollars. They
Right.
can pay you way more.
Right.
But if they paid you way more, instead of making $5 billion, they're making $3 billion.
Right.
That's it.
So it's like,
It's greed,
guys,
corporate
why
greed.
is it that $2 billion?
Greed is a
is, yo.
sin, so either way, it's just
It's
not-
wrong.
Morally
wrong.
wrong, bro. It's crazy because most of what's going on in the world, not even this country, is
It's
just
because
by
of corporate greed.
Has anybody ever watched the Netflix show Iron Fist?
That's how they keep crime
Iron
around. That's how
Fist,
they keep
no.
prisons
No, it's
around.
Iron
Because
Fist,
they
Iron
need people
Fist.
to do what they have to do.
right.
The dude, he's a superhero or whatever, but his family also owned a big corporation. And he was lost for like a couple of years. They thought he was dead. When he came back, he owned 50% of the shares of the company. So he was in the CEO board and all that. But he had a different set of morals than everybody else. So what happened was he got the meeting, and they had this new medicine, and they're gonna charge. It costs them like $1 or something to make it, but they're gonna sell it for like $200, $250. He's like, what? No, it costs us $1, so we're gonna sell it for $1. He has 50% shares. And they're like, what? No, we can't do that. That's not how business works. What do you mean?
At least sell it for $2.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like $500.
Low key, these
Just like
superhero shows
the
be like
HIV,
they be thinking like
I
dropping
believe
gems.
movies, because nobody likes to read. So movies, that director, like everybody said Get Out had a bunch of clues in it. Movies, period, are stuff that no one wants to read. Directors, people that are in that environment, they know stuff. They might not be able to tell us because that's their name online, that's their career online, da-da-da. So they put it in their movie
As entertainment.
As hints.
But you know
and
what's
hoping
crazy?
that someone will understand what is really going on. It's not just a movie, but there's a message behind
That
it.
word really messed up books.
What?
Entertainment. Because no matter whether it was fiction, actual novel,
They were the OG entertainment, right?
it was not entertainment. All books, if it's a book, whether it be fiction or not, it's supposed to teach you something. Every plot is supposed to have a lesson.
That's true.
They're supposed to teach you something. And then a movie is just a visual book. Instead of reading the words, they having to fix it for yourself. They show you the picture and they have the actors portray that lesson.
Right.
But the thing is, nobody thinks of that. Nobody watches a movie and say, well, what lesson do I get from this movie? Nobody watches Will Smith's Pursuit of Happiness and say, well, what is he trying to teach us?
I think they do, but we don't implement it into our lives. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's
It's
another
the-
thing.
it's
They
the
don't
action
self-reflect.
Yeah, or that.
They don't think about, well, how does this apply to me?
Because you just have to watch it.
Or how can I use that to better someone else? Because people
Right.
see them and they know people that are actually going to do that outside of themselves.
Or we watch something, we too busy thinking, oh, my mom need to watch this because she be acting like this, or my dad. But what about
you?
Just like my mom and dad always argue about this after church. My mom will be like, Paul, that sermon was for you. It was for you. It was for you.
Goodness.
And my dad would be like, it was for you. It was for you. In fact, it was for yourself. Like,
it's not even after the sermon. It's during, and they look
should
at
be
you.
nudging. Oh, when your parents look at you like
this is
disobedient
you.
children.
I mean, listen, it's for you too. But I think with morals, judging and pointing fingers is morally wrong as well. I was talking to my friend before the show, and one scenario I brought up was strippers, and how you know how some of them
Strippers are a scary thing.
Scary.
Podcast.
Scary.
I get ganged up.
and some of them I was saying, some of them they do it just to make ends meet, and people don't like it because they're putting themselves out there and everything like that, and people are body shaming. But at the end of the day, just because you don't agree with a woman stripping, and I also learned, not every stripper came from a bad environment or to make
a troubled background.
Yeah, troubled background. They just really
like every hoe doesn't have daddy issues.
Right. They just really like doing that and stuff. So
I beg to differ sometimes.
But
They got selfish.
Selfish. It's a self-issue, self-love issue.
you think so?
Or they might got strict parents, or they come out wild and
Right.
But what if you really love
they just want
yourself, but you
attention.
love yourself in that way, though?
Yeah, because when we went to that event again, shout out to Annabelle. She brings up. I don't know if you had conversations with her before, but she brings up like really good points that like. Because we're so busy thinking, or I'm so busy. No, she's not. But she thinks very differently, And like, if you're just thinking, like for example, when I was in class and I was like, the professor asked, was Hitler a good leader? And the whole class was like, no. Let me finish. The whole class is like, no. And I was like, the professor didn't ask if he was morally right. They asked, did he have great leadership skills? And he did. And unfortunately, Donald Trump does too. There's some principles that he applies, but morally, no. But going back to what I was saying, like, there's like you're saying, maybe someone just feels like hippies in the 70s. We love ourselves, let's love each other, and let's show each other how we love each other. Yeah, like for some people, that's how they feel, but that's not what we was talking about. So, but I get where you going.
I feel like in that aspect, it's not just like, oh, I might like myself in this way. Other people might like you in that way. So if you're getting the most love that way, you're gonna keep going down that route because that's the most.
But I think that all comes back to, what do you define love to be?
That's another thing.
It could be a conflict of attention. That could be love for someone.
Yeah.
Just like your morals are screwed like that because maybe in that person's head
what makes
they
you think it's screwed though? You
Skewed.
think skewed. I thought you said
Yeah.
screwed.
But you know, attention doesn't necessarily mean love.
But to that person, maybe growing up, attention was what was shown as love, so that's what they think in their head.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You ever had a friend where it's like y'all go, you have a deep conversation with them, and all of a sudden after that they're just so like tied to you, like they want to do everything with you, like they feel like they're almost clingy, and it's just like we have one conversation. In that manner, I feel like that person is not used to that. So you tell someone something different, they automatically just cling to it. So if you're not getting that at home, if you're not getting love at home, whether it's from your mom, your dad, your siblings, and you go out and you're a certain way and someone shows you love in that way, you're going to keep on doing that. Because to you it feels good.
You know,
Right.
the law of attraction
It's like an
says,
addiction.
law of attraction, they say, a person, depending on like the type of energy you have,
Mm-hmm.
say I have a certain type of energy, right? You feel that.
Yeah.
If that's if that feeling you feel is something you crave for in yourself, you're gonna be attracted to me because you want to see what parts of me give me that feeling or give you that feeling that rubs off of me.
That's very true. It's also true in things that you see in someone that turns you off really quick, and you're like, that's something you got in yourself too, low key.
Really?
And it's like you don't want to deal with that.
But you don't want to deal with it, and you don't even notice it. But when you see something in someone else, it's like, why is that person always doing that? Low key, you do the same thing.
That might not be
Here's
expressed.
a question that I have. Here's another question
about
I have.
people.
What about the people who don't even practice morals and principles and values? They just like.
But what are morals and principles and values? Because it's so sticky. Because
I feel like some people, like when we're talking about
you mean mainstream morals, maybe, and values, we should say.
Yeah, let's talk about that, right? Because then you have some people. Let's talk about the people with who don't have much, right? I feel like they do certain things because their value becomes strictly money, and that kind of messes up.
What is it called?
morals.
Maslow's ranking of needs.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Needs.
Yeah.
There you go.
So since you don't have much money, and your hungry, your family's hungry, you don't care about school.
It's just how can I get.
It's how can I get my next meal.
Mm-hmm.
And if and money pays to get a meal. So if I gotta, like you said, if I gotta do a bail, I'm gonna do a bail. If if this chick has to sell herself for a couple hundred, that's what she's gonna do. But then those people, I don't even think they were brought up to know about morals and values and stuff like that. They just know they need to eat, and that's it. And then maybe in their household, they tell them, their mom and dad tell them, you gotta get it by any means necessary. And maybe that's their morals and their principles of good. You did good, son, because you fed us.
Especially for us, like a lot of the times I see it on social media a lot too. Like a lot of parents that look like us in this room, or are minorities, or are brown, whether it's Latino or African American, we kind of we put our kids on their own at 18, whereas Sally and John, they get to live in their parents' house till they maybe even get married or saving up for a house.
This is how it should
And
be.
when you are young, like your brain doesn't even fully develop till you're 25. And when you're young, it leaves room for you to make even more stupid mistakes. Of course, you have free will to do what you want to do, but when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, I feel like you leave your morals alone because you're like, okay, I gotta pay rent, I gotta do this, and I still gotta take care of my cousin, I gotta
and
take
you
care
don't
of my
even get
brother.
to practice them the right way to become that person that you were.
Another thing
And then
is
a cycle just.
I think we that all goes back to self-reflection though, because that cycle becomes a habit because they don't self-reflect.
Right.
Like say we talk about a drug dealer. If you start selling drugs at the age of 13, you're gonna get bad by the time you're 15. That's a fact. If you start selling drugs at the age of 13, you're gonna get bagged the first time before you turn
Bad
15.
means go to jail, right?
Yeah, or just picked up by the police or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, say I'm selling drugs, right? And the cops told me, hey, what you doing? I'm like, nah, I'm just chilling. He said, spin off. I'll walk away. Right? They don't do nothing to me. Right? I just got a lucky break. Now, what does that mean? Stop selling over there. They're gonna be watching you.
That's it.
right? Stop, take a break. But I gotta eat though. So what I'm gonna do? I'm out there tomorrow with the same spot. Walk, that's what people know I'll be at. Same spot. They're gonna come there.
They're not dumb. They're like, yo, you always on this corner.
They watch me.
Let me
They're gonna wait for me. They're gonna wait for me to slip. They're gonna get me.
That's it.
Now once I'm once I'm in that car, they processing me. They take me to the station. I got 6 months because I'm a minor, right? I have 6 months to think about what I just did and why I'm there, and could it have been avoided. Nowadays, people don't think that. They think, dang, I just got bagged.
Yeah.
They gonna laugh at me. They ain't gonna put me back on when I came back.
Themselves,
Yeah.
no
Dang,
accountability.
I wish I had to do this, man. They gave up. Low key, like Senzu said, the easiest way to control a person is to break their spirit.
Break their spirit.
Cause once a person don't believe in themselves no more, they're weak.
Yep.
They'll steal from their mother. They'll kill their best
Kill
friend.
their mom.
And that's where all that cycle in those urban areas happen. When you hear about these artists talking about the loyalty and brothers killing brothers, it's all because of money and greed. That's it.
But I want to say
And
that.
not having food to
And
eat.
not having food.
I say it's lack of spirit. I say it all comes down to
It could be spirit. In high school, it's crazy. In high school, that was probably one of the worst times for the people around me. Maybe even for myself. I've been through some stupid stuff. But in high school, I had a lot of friends that got kicked out of their own homes.
Mhm.
In high school. Like, they had to, and I grew up in a one-bedroom apartment with 4 of us.
Mhm.
So it was sometimes where they would spend the night with me for like 2 weeks. We go to school together. We wear my clothes because their parents, they're off drugs.
Damn.
Or they didn't come home on time. You just leave. Or you didn't want to cook while I'm at work. Stupid petty stuff that they look at their child. You have to do this down to third because you're in high school now. So to their parents, high school was you're an adult because they didn't finish.
That's crazy.
Or to them, they was doing what they wanted to do. So at that standard, if you have it together, to them, what are you doing? Like, to them, you're messed up.
Now,
Because
let's
they're
tie it
not
up.
allowing children to be children.
Exactly.
Because they weren't allowed to be children,
weren't allowed
or
to.
situations
So
that they
I'm
got
gonna
into
strip you
didn't
from
allow
your
them.
childhood because I didn't have one. And
Yeah,
that's
or they
selfish.
don't know.
That's-
And I don't think they
But
do
that
all
And
that.
that goes back to
back to-
spirit. That
back
goes
to
back to
spirit.
spirit. Yes.
Because it's been a cycle. This.
If
All
I
my
could
problems-
break your
Yeah.
spirit, you gonna break your son's spirit.
But
And
as a
you gonna-
generation, as a generation, our problems that we're facing right now, I promise you, they're not our problems. The problems that we facing right now are the baby boomers' problems.
And
That
their
we
parents,
gotta-
no, it's their parents' problems too.
Yeah.
Because
But that's what
I
I'm
know when
saying.
you think baby boomers, you're thinking about grandparents. Because my parents are baby boomers, so I'm thinking about their parents. Because my parents are
I
mad
was thinking
strict.
about really from like the 60s on.
Yeah, but my parents are mad strict, and I had a conversation. I'm like, why are you guys? They're like, we didn't even know we were being so strict because when my mom said when my father entered the house, none of the children made a noise.
Wow.
So in my parents' head, they think they gave their kids mad freedom, like,
Yeah.
and in reality, from their point of view, they did. You know,
Mhm.
my mom even said that you don't enter your parents' room, but I used to jump on my parents' bed, watch TV, eat in the bed, like it was nothing. And like, and then I started to understand from their point of view. But that's the thing, nobody, just like when we hurt somebody else, we're so quick to try and defend ourselves, or we're so
Yeah.
quick. But if you take the time out to understand their point of view, but also the person who hurt you, why did this person hurt me?
Right.
Where are they in their life? Like,
That
are
takes a
they
lot.
are they angry? Have they been through certain things? Doesn't excuse what they did, but to at least understand means to love and to show love.
Yeah.
And
But-
if you can show love, like, everything will be easier. But the thing is, we don't want to understand we don't want to understand each other.
That's one.
But everything
don't.
you just said, like, all those good aspects you just named, is a person who has a strong spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
A person who loves, a person who understands from another person. They sympathize with you.
Right.
Matter of fact, I won't say they empathize with you.
Empathize. Yeah.
They actually feel what you're feeling.
I think that's me. That's
It
why
ta-
I'm
it
so
takes
to
a
help
lot.
everybody.
And that's another thing. They
I
make it
give-
seem
I
like
give so much.
the spirituality of a person does not exist.
Mm.
They make you feel like you don't have no soul. You're just a person with a beating heart. That isn't true. Because at the end of the day, and I say this to everybody who doesn't believe in like the energy in the body. Because I've done Tai Chi, I did martial arts and dancing. All arts rely on the energies of the body. And what I've learned is that's that's how you feel things.
Right.
You have electricity coming from your brain.
Right.
Electricity needs power. Where does that power come from?
Alkaline water. JK.
That's right. And before you even drink anything as a baby, you still have electricity running through your veins.
Yeah.
Right.
You still got 90 degrees of heat inside of your body that can increase depending on your mood,
Right.
or decrease depending on your mood.
So that's why I feel spirituality is important.
Right.
And to build your spirituality, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of discipline, but you also have to allow yourself to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That's true and not true. Because you're right, it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of practice. But that's only because we wasn't taught it at a young age.
Yep.
I can say I grew up, my dad's side is Christian, my mother's side is Jehovah's Witnesses. So growing up, if you at somebody's house, both my grandmas are alive still. If I'm at one of them houses, I'm either going to church or I'm going to the Kean Hall. Because growing up, my mom, she does neither, as I was raised. When she got her own apartment at 18, I never touched foot unless I went to my grandmother's house. So at that point, I'm being pulled between two different types of views, two different types of religions. You got one thing in common, you want to love God. But y'all share two different types of God, two different types of culture, two different types of religious views. So at a point when I was old enough, I minimized it and I had Bible studies with my Nana to make her happy. It wasn't for me, it was for her. And at this point, I did build my own spirituality. I pray, I watch certain things, documentaries. My mom, she does that. Church, I feel uncomfortable in church.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable in Kingdom Hall
Yeah.
because it's just not for me.
I was having a conversation with my cousin who visited me from PA, and their family grew up in Haiti, and my uncle's a pastor. You know, he's been a pastor, and he expected him to become a pastor as well. When they sent him to America to study, he took on psychology and sociology instead, and now he's doing well. He works in mental facilities with kids, and the thing is, he don't go to church. He told his dad, Dad, I'm not going to church. I don't understand why. He said, I don't understand the whole point of standing up when somebody tells you to, sitting down and all that stuff. And his dad was disappointed, his dad was upset, and his dad wanted him to do missionary stuff. But he was and because he didn't do it as a pastor, he thought he wasn't a missionary at all. But being a missionary, you can be in any position in life, and it's all about spreading. This is missionary right now that you're doing, and I understood what he was saying, and I was happy to hear that from him because I thought he was still, he still
that
kept
old
that
mindset.
Yeah, and he's way older than me, and I was like, when I had that conversation with him, I was like, wow, and for him to do that with that family, that
Who's
takes
this
a lot.
again?
This is my cousin.
Oh.
That's like when Kirk Franklin got all that backlash with the last album he had, and I think Chance the Rapper was on that same album.
Yeah.
It's called Losing My Religion, because religion is organized.
Yeah.
Religion is organized. I mean, I can only speak from my religion. I unfortunately have to use that word, but the book I read in my Bible, when Jesus was on earth, he was hanging out with your modern day strippers, your modern day scammers,
Drinkers.
car poppers, crackheads. He was only in the church once, and he was very angry because they turned it into a store. And I changed it in my head. They turned it into something it wasn't supposed to be.
To make
Right?
profit.
And the one time Jesus was angry in the Bible was when he came to the church and noticed it was turned into a store. He threw everything on the floor. And when he was here, he was walking with the people that people would turn their nose to. And at the end of the day, my religion or my walk with God is to grow as a person, grow into a better person, the best version of me, and to show as much love as I can.
And to show and to apply what you're practicing to because you have a lot of older generations, all they tell you is go to church, go to church. How can I teach the world if I'm always in church?
In the church.
They'll tell you pray. It's like, I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pray.
I'm
I need you to
pray
sing.
it out.
I need you to listen to me.
You know,
It's like,
I always feel, because I grew up Muslim, right? And there are different types of Muslims. You
After
have
this
people,
will end.
people that's Salafi, they're real extreme. You gotta do this, you gotta wear this, you have to look like this, or you're not Muslim. You have the Sunnis.
it's like the Pentecostal
You have
Christians.
Sunnis. Sunnis are more, I wouldn't say they're more lenient, but they are lenient. That's how it's supposed to be. They follow the religion the way it's supposed to be taught. You know? They're not too overbearing because, to be honest, in Islam, you're supposed to overlook another person's sins. You're not supposed to judge them because you're not God. The moment you judge them, you just compared yourself to God.
That's the same.
Right.
And I was younger. My dad, he was real educated about Islam. But the thing he stressed to me the most was, I can tell you this all day. It won't matter until you learn it for yourself. He said, learn. Don't just study Islam. I didn't just study Islam. I studied every last world religion. I can have a whole conversation with you on every last of the world religions. And then what I did was, I eliminated outliers. So I said, okay, this is an outlier. This is an outlier. This is an outlier, right? And then I kept going. How far does this go? You know? How many outliers? How many things can I explain? I found a logical reason behind it all. And really, there's always going to be a universal truth. And the universal truth has no flaws. You can't say, but what if? Or, but what about? Or, no, that's not true. Because once it's universal, it's generalized and it stands for everything. And if you really think about it, it goes so deep. But nobody wants to really accept that. They want to figure out on themselves without really trying to see that there is morality in everything you do. Yeah. And if you really pay attention, when you do something wrong, even if you say out loud that it's not wrong,
you feel
when you do something wrong, you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it.
You feel it. And that's all I gotta say. We close out on that. The Google is done.
You guys want to put out your social media?
My art page is Art by Sun God, spelled as it is, Sun God. My personal page is _Sun God.
I'm Gene the Genius.
I'm Saad the Guru.
And I'm Camille.
And this has been another edition of Nabruh Talk, and we are out of here.